Easter is just around the corner, and while you may be ready for an Easter egg hunt and to stuff your face with all the chocolate, here are some tips to help prevent your dog from doing the same. Welcome back to Alpha Paw, your destination for everything dog. I'm Bernie Zilio, and I'm on a mission to answer every doggone question you have ever had about your fur babies. And today we are talking about how to keep those fur babies safe on Easter. Fortunately, we have an expert with us today, Dr. Ross Bernstein. Dr. Ross is a seasoned veterinary professional and pet care expert. He earned his doctorate degree in veterinary medicine at UC Davis School of Veterinary Medicine, and his work has been featured in several industry-leading publications, including the Journal of Veterinary Surgery. He is our go-to vet for everything we want and need to know about our fur babies. So welcome back to Alpha Paw, Dr. Ross.
Hey, Bernie. It's been a long time.
Thank you so much for being here, Dr. Ross. I cannot believe it is spring already. The fact that we're already talking about Easter, I feel like New Year's Eve was yesterday. Whether or not you celebrate Easter, I think it goes without saying that the holiday is heavily associated with candy and chocolate and all the stuff that none of us, including our dogs, should be eating. So we've talked about this a million times, but Dr. Ross, can we go through it 1,000,001 times? Why is it so important to keep our dogs away from chocolate and candy?
Yeah. So Easter, the eggs might be filled with chocolate. Can get little bunnies made out of chocolate. It's going to smell and taste really good. So your dog's probably going to go and eat it. A lot of times there's little shiny things too that your dog's going to want to go and eat. So chocolate can be bad for a couple of reasons. Number one, it can be filled with butters and sugars and all sorts of other filler ingredients that your dog is not used to eating. So that can be really inflammatory to their gastrointestinal tract and cause vomiting and diarrhea. In chocolate in higher doses, and especially if it's not milk chocolate, like dark chocolate, baker's chocolate, really depends on the milligrams of this chemical called theobromine. Depending on how much of that chemical is in the candy, then your dog can experience cardiotoxic signs. They can also experience neurotoxic signs. So want to make sure that they're not eating the chocolate, not eating the candies, and they can stay safe.
Okay, perfect. All right. So I think we have a good grasp on why chocolate and candy is so bad for our dogs. But with Easter, it can be everywhere, including places that you really didn't anticipate. But in addition to candy and chocolate, another big, issue, a potential issue for our dogs could be Easter eggs. Now, I'm talking real eggs. I'm talking fake eggs. Can you kind of talk us through why those types of temptations can also be harmful for our dogs?
Dogs love to eat all sorts of stuff. I mean, sometimes they even eat their own poop. Like, let's be real. So pretty much anything that's not what they usually eat can potentially cause harm. So we just talked about chocolate. If they're eating raw eggs, like raw eggs have all their own dangers too. Salmonella is a big one. If they're eating plastic eggs, you don't want that. That plastic can potentially cause cuts or trauma inside their mouth. If they ate a lot of them, it can even cause an obstruction in their GI tract. If they're eating other sorts of plastic and tissue paper, I mean, that's just not good for them to be eating non-food items. So want to keep that away. Something that's a lot of people don't really realize is sometimes candy these days, and especially gum, which is not really associated with Easter, but a lot of gum, sometimes peanut butter, other candies have a chemical in them called xylitol. Xylitol is often used as a substitute for sugar, and it is, while people can eat it and we're fine, is extremely toxic to dogs. So that's something to be very careful about. It can cause liver failure. It can cause hypoglycemia. And probably one of the things you'll see with that is they might have seizures. So that's something else that you want to be aware about and keep in mind.
That is all so true, Dr. Ross. And quite frankly, it doesn't sound like humans should be consuming xylitol either, but that is a topic for a different video series. But back to Easter, as someone who grew up an avid Easter egg hunter, I will say that sometimes those eggs, and I'm talking the plastic ones, they're either filled with candy or coins, pennies, quarters, things of that sort. Sometimes they're not always found by the humans who are looking for them. And sometimes the dogs find them, whether it's that day or days or weeks later. And God knows that dogs should not be consuming chocolate, let alone old chocolate, moldy chocolate, actual quarters. I mean, there's so many things that could go wrong. So while I think Easter egg hunts are adorable and probably something that we could all use a little bit of right now in terms of how the world has been lately, I think it's very important to consider that your dogs, like you said, Dr. Ross, eat everything. So now I want to get into our third and final, I guess, warning, caution, something we should keep an eye out for Easter. And that is that fake grass, tinsel looking plastic that we use inside of the Easter baskets to stuff them and make them look super cute. This is something that didn't even occur to me that this could be harmful for dogs. So can you explain to me why it is?
Yeah, tinsel and other decorations in general. Again, they're very shiny and dogs like to eat all sorts of things. So your dog might mistake them for food or for a toy. And tinsel especially is something that's really, really dangerous. Anything that's long string type thing can become what's called a linear foreign body. And basically what that means is it gets stuck somewhere in their intestinal tract, and then their intestines keep pumping the rest of the stuff through, but it has an anchor there. So it eventually, their intestines start to become like an accordion shape. Ugh. And that tinsel then becomes like a knife and can slice through their intestines. So it's super dangerous. Anything that's potentially hard can cut their mouths, cut their gums, cut their tongue, cut their esophagus, stomach, intestines, anything all the way through. And even if it doesn't cut it or cause damage, it's still not food and might give them some vomiting or diarrhea. So want to limit the amount of stuff that they have the chance to eat and might mistake for food or for toys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've learned, we've talked about pretty much every holiday, and we've learned, especially around the Christmas time holidays when tinsel's everywhere. Tinsel is so attractive to dogs. All of these things that we like to put out for decorations around the holidays are teases for our animals. So I think it's just really important that we're cautious and aware of that. And I know it sounds tedious and annoying, and we sound like Debbie Downers all the time. But if you just pay a little bit of attention to making sure your dog is safe on these holidays, everyone will be enjoying these holidays that much more, including your dog. So thank you so much, Dr. Ross, for all of this information. It has been super helpful. And if you guys, our viewers, have any more questions, comments, concerns, please go ahead and drop them down in the comment section down below. Again, I'm Bernie Zilio, and this is Alpha Paw. Be sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single doggone episode, and we'll see you guys next time.